a Q&A session where you can ask your questions, or if it's a burning question that you might forget, you could probably just drop it in the chat. We have a whole other a whole lot of mentors that will be on the chat ready to respond to your questions so that it doesn't cause distractions to our speakers, so we don't break the flow. Then also, that's if you can pen down your questions. Like I said, you can use the Q&A. Then we want to indulge us to please follow us on our social mediums. We have Twitter at NGM365. We also have a YouTube channel where you have to subscribe, like the videos, and also share them. So every recording, we started this last week, and we had 2 sessions, Saturday night, Sunday night, same time, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. The 2 sessions are currently sitting in the YouTube channel, so you can always go back there to view them. And this session as well would also be uploaded by tonight or tomorrow, so that you can also review them as you go on. So please head over to YouTube and just search for Nigerian M365. You would find the channel. Please subscribe and like the videos. And then also, we value your feedback. So there's a link where you can also leave your feedback on the training and the models. If there's anything new you want to see, if there's a topic you feel like we should be talking about, yes, those can also be brought up in the feedback form. Thank you. So very quickly, I'll just hand over to our speaker, and then he's going to kick us up as we go on.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Said, we can hear you. It's a bit low.
Oh, okay. How about now? Can you hear me now clearly?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. And I think it's the same for, yes. So I can see thumbs up. It means we can hear you.
All right, thank you. All right, so thank you, Adekunle, for the amazing introduction. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. As earlier introduced by Adekunle, my name is Saheed Owoeye. I'm a cloud security and identity specialist, and I will be your instructor today. First and foremost, I would like to appreciate the leadership of the Nigeria M365 community. Specifically, I would like to appreciate the leadership of the Nigeria M365 community, the Madam Olajumoke Toriola, for the privilege to be here today. Madam Olajumoke Toriola is the pioneer and founder of Nigeria M365 Community. I also extend my gratitude to the amazing organizers and the mentors present in the house. Oyimafu and I will be co-mentoring the mentees on the Microsoft Entra ID track, and we are truly excited to guide you throughout this journey. Let's get started. I will go ahead to share my screen. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, Said, it came up, but then it's off again. So you might want to check that.
Okay, Adekunle, let me just. About now? Please confirm.
Yes, yes. So that thumbs up. I guess everyone can see it as well. I can see it. It's gone off again.
I think you should be okay now.
Okay, yes. It's here now.
All right. So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much once again. Thank you, Adekunle, for the amazing introduction. Like I said earlier, I would also like to appreciate the leadership of the M365 community, specifically Madam Olajumoke Toriola, the pioneer and founder of the Nigeria M365 Community. I also extend my gratitude to the amazing organizers and mentors present in the house. So myself and Oyimafu will be co-mentoring the mentees on the Microsoft Entra ID track. Let's get started. So yeah, the learning path agenda for this track, okay? So we'll be introducing mentee to identity basis and Entra ID. We also discuss user groups roles, which are core admin skills. And we move on to authentication, MFA, and sign-in security. And we will round it up with conditional access, monitoring, and best practices. Okay, for the first module, Introduction to Identity Basic and Entra ID, I'll be covering this module along with the second module, and Oyimafu will take care of the third module and the fourth one, respectively. So for module 1, Introduction to Identity Basic and Entra ID. So we will discuss what is digital identity. We will also learn what are identity used for, and we will identify identity model type. And we move forward to Microsoft Entra ID, which is the main reason why we are here. And we also discuss users that make use of Microsoft Entra ID. And we also discuss Entra ID tenant and directory concepts. And we also discuss on what are the prerequisites that we need to put in place before we can access Microsoft Entra ID. And we will wrap it up with Entra ID Admin Center walkthrough. So firstly, I would like to ask the audience to just, I want to make this class interactive. I understand that we have MVP member on the call tonight. I understand we have intermediate individual in Microsoft 365 domain, and for this track is dedicated to the beginners. So I would like us to have an interactive section, and I would like the mentee to define digital identity in their own understanding. Please, you can drop what you understand by digital identity in the chat so that we'll be able to discuss further on it. Okay? Can anyone share his or her understanding? Can you hear me? I can see in the chat that someone say no audio. Okay. All right. That's amazing. Amaye Igonikon. Sorry for pronouncing that name like that. Okay, digital identity is your representation online. Thank you. Adiuti Suliat, online identity. That's correct. Digital identity for me means individual footprint. You are also correct. Electronic representation of devices or users. That's correct. Okay, thank you, Adeshayo Obadara. Your personal presentation, according to Temitope Dada, according to Tim, one's footprint on the internet space. Coco, please confirm if you can hear me now. Thank you. Mercy Abiola, what you identify as online, okay? I see digital identity is a persons provide on a digital space or platform. Okay. Chidebere is your online identity. Wonderful definition. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for your contribution. So let's move on to the next slide. So digital identity is the collection of data, attributes, and credentials. All your definition of digital identity are correct. Okay, digital identity is the collection of data, attribute, and credentials that uniquely represent a person, organization, or device in the online world. So I really appreciate all the contribution from all the mentees. So it functions like a digital version of your real world identity, and it is used to authenticate who you are, authorize what you can do, and personalize your experience. Okay, so these are what we use digital identity for: to authenticate who you are, to authorize what you can do, and to personalize your digital experience. Okay, so I will move on to the next slide. So what are identity used for? Okay, we now understand the concept of identity. But what are the identity? What are they used for? So we have authentication, authorization, auditing, and administration. These are what we use identity for. What do we mean by authentication? Authentication simply answer who you are. Who are you? It's the process of verifying your identity. So the question that authentication will answer is, who are you? Okay. And authorization in a layman format actually answer, what are you allowed to do? When you have been authenticated, we have granted you an access. With your access, what can you do with the access? This is what we mean by authorization. It determines what resources you can access and what actions you can perform after you have been authenticated. Okay, so auditing. Auditing is about tracking and recording activities related to your identity and access. So let's view auditing like all the record. If we use if we use a school as a case study. So let's say school building. Let's use an analogy of a school building. Auditing is like the record that are put in place by the administrator of your school. Okay, the school keep record of who sign in, who sign out, who borrow book from the library, who access certain laboratories, among other things. So it's about tracking all the and recording activities related to identity and access. The last one is administration. Administration is about managing identities, policies, and settings by an administrator. Okay, so in terms of the case study that I earlier mentioned, if you notice that as a student, whenever you arrive at your school gate, the security man will ask for your identity just to be able to confirm if you are one of their students. So once you provide your ID card, they will be able to prove your identity that this student is one of our students. Okay, so if we want to translate it to the digital world, we can say you are proving your identity by entering your username and password as well as your MFA or biometrics. So authorization in this regard, if we want to use the same case study, it actually means even if you are a student, you cannot enter every room in your school. So your student ID only gives you permission to access classroom, library, laboratories, among others. But if you are a teacher, you have more access to certain room that ordinary student cannot have access to unless they are invited. Okay, so authorization, what your identity can do or what your identity can access. So auditing keep tracking of what happened, the school record, the signing log of in the school gate, who borrow book, who access certain laboratories. So it's like in the online world, it's like tracking the signings, the access, and any changes that was made in your environment. So administration. And the administration means managing everything. The school administrator create new student record, assign classes, update student information. The administrator can also suspend student or any inactive students. So in the online world, administration means managing users, permission, groups, and roles by the administrator. When we go further, you will understand more on this concept. So let's discuss identity model type. So there are three types of identity model. The first one is on-prem identity. On-prem is a short form for on-premises. These are identities are managed locally using tools such as Active Directory within the organization on-premises data center. When we talk of cloud identity, these are identities that are fully managed in the cloud using services such as Microsoft Entra ID. If you notice from the on-premises side of the story, we have Active Directory. And from the cloud identity, we have Microsoft Entra ID. Okay, if we move on to hybrid identity. Hybrid is a combination of the on-premises and cloud identity, where identity are synchronized between the local AD in the on-premises server room and the Microsoft Entra ID. So let's look at Microsoft Entra ID, the reason why we are here today. Microsoft Entra ID is a cloud-based identity and access management service. It is the modern name for Azure Active Directory and serve as the core identity platform for Microsoft cloud services such as Microsoft 365, Azure Dynamics 365, and thousands of software as a service applications. If you noticed, you will realize that Azure Active Directory and the on-premises Active Directory, they have they have something in common, which is Active Directory. This is this is one of the reasons why Microsoft changed the name to Entra ID. So they changed the name to Entra ID so as to be able to reduce the confusion with Windows Server Active Directory and the on-premises environment. So some users, if they are new to Microsoft environment, when you say Active Directory and when you say Azure Active Directory, they get confused. So this is one of the reasons why Microsoft changed the name from Azure Active Directory to Microsoft Entra ID. So another reason why the name was changed to Microsoft Entra ID was because Microsoft Entra ID communicate the multi-cloud. They want to communicate the multi-cloud function of Microsoft Entra ID because Microsoft Entra ID has a multi-cloud, multi-platform functionality. As you can see in the image in the right-hand side, we have Microsoft Entra ID in the middle, and we have Microsoft 365, Microsoft Azure, Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, and more than 3,000 cloud applications. So this implies you can use a single identity to access multiple environments. This is the end goal. You can use your Microsoft Entra ID identity to access your Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, other software as a service using the same credentials. So you don't need to have multiple accounts to be able to access all those resources. So let's move on to the next. Who uses Microsoft Entra ID? Who uses Microsoft Entra ID? So basically, IT administrator make use of Entra ID to create and manage users and groups. They make use of Microsoft Entra ID to assign roles and secure identities by enforcing multi-factor authentication, set conditional access, and manage device. Another set of people that use Microsoft Entra ID, they are employees. Employees or users, they are people in your organization who sign in to access corporate email, collaborative tools like Microsoft Teams and SharePoint, your internal application in your company, and other software as a service that your company used for daily operation, like Salesforce, Adobe, and many others. Another set of people that use Microsoft Entra ID are your partners, your vendors, your supplier, guest user, business to business. So these are guest invited users in your tenant. If you want to collaborate with maybe a professional outside your company or a contractor, instead of you creating a new account for them, you can invite them to your tenant as a guest. They can use their personal email account. You can invite them with their personal email account like Gmail. If they have Microsoft Entra ID account, you can also use that account to invite them. What does this mean? It actually means that you don't need to create a new identity for them. They can authenticate with their own identity provider and be able to collaborate and access resources within your company. The resources they will have access to depend on the level of access that is given to them. So another set of entity that make use of Microsoft Entra ID devices and applications that need authentication access. As you can see, not just people, not just employees, application services, devices can have identities through Microsoft Entra ID, so they can access resources securely. Another set of users that make use of Microsoft Entra ID are organizations of all sizes. If you have small business, medium companies, and large enterprise, they all can make use of Microsoft Entra ID. They can use it to manage their employee identities and access to app. Microsoft Entra ID supports organization at all walks of life, be it in healthcare domain, finance, government, education, technology, manufacturing, and so more, and many more. So the last on this list for set of users that make use of Microsoft Entra ID are cloud service users. If a company or organization uses services like Microsoft 365 or Office 365, Azure or Dynamics 365, Intune or Power Platform, it automatically included in their package. So all their employees, administrator, and services that sign into those platforms are using Entra ID for identity management. So let's talk about Entra ID tenant and directory concept. Okay, a tenant is a dedicated, isolated instance of Microsoft Entra ID created for an organization. On the other hand, a directory is the identity stored inside a tenant. So if I go back to the using the school case study, a tenant is like a old school building that belongs to one organization. So every organization gets its own tenant. It is separate, it is secure, it is isolated from others. In the school scenario, only your school or your company can make use of your tenant. So a tenant is like your organization private identity space in Microsoft Cloud. And the directory, the school roster, the students, the teachers, the classes, access right devices within your school are stored in the directory. So a directory is like the database that store all identities and permission in your environment. So how tenant and directory work together? When a tenant is created, a default Entra ID directory is created with it. All identities and resources are stored in that directory. Policy apply across the tenant boundary. Everything inside the directory inherit the tenant security and governance control. The tenant is the container that owns and governs it. So it is your organization boundary, and it is created for the purpose of security, isolation, and administration. Let's talk about the prerequisites. What are the things we need to put in place before we can access Entra ID? The first thing on the list is to decide your identity model. For example, if you want to go with cloud or hybrid. If you want to grow, let's assume that your company already have existing on-premises environment and you want to make use of cloud capabilities, you can subscribe for hybrid, whereby your user from the on-premises environment can be synchronized to the online environment, and they can make use of the same identity to access resources within your company. But if your company is a startup, like you don't have any existing environment and you don't want to cater for a server within your company, you don't want to stress over going through taking care of managing your own data center, you can go ahead to create cloud only identity. So another thing that we need to have before we can access Microsoft Entra ID is our custom domain. Microsoft always gives a default domain for every tenant, but for your organization to be more unique, you have to have your own custom domain, like google.com, amazon.com. Those are custom domain that uniquely separate your company from any other company out there. So because if you fail to have a custom domain when you create a new tenant, your user will be stuck with the default domain that comes with your tenant, which is user@tenant.onmicrosoft.com. Those that are familiar with M365 environment, we understand what we are discussing here. But for the purpose of the beginners, it is advisable to have your own custom domain when you subscribe to Microsoft 365 tenants. So another thing to mention is Microsoft tenant setup. You can have Microsoft 365 tenant or Azure tenant. The last but not the least, you need licensing. When we say licensing, we are talking about because all the cloud service provider we have today, they are out there for business. So you need to subscribe and pay them a certain money to be able to use the services that they provide. So for you to be able to access Microsoft Entra ID, you need a minimum of basic license, Microsoft 365 basic license. So the Azure AD, like I already mentioned, in the right hand side, you can see the image here. The Azure AD free is now what we know as Microsoft Entra ID free. So if you have a basic license, you will have access to Microsoft Entra ID free. And if your company wants more, like you want more security features, want to be able to do a lot of advanced or intermediate security features in your environment, you need to go for Microsoft Entra ID Premium 1 or Plan 1, which is also included in Microsoft 365 E3 license. If you have a large enterprise and you want more security feature like full enterprise experience, you need to subscribe for Microsoft Entra ID P2. This is also included in Microsoft 365 E5 license. How can we access Entra ID? So we have several ways in which we can access Entra ID. The first one is admin.microsoft.com. The second option is using entra.microsoft.com. Another option we can use to access Entra ID is portal.azure.com. And the last on the list is using cmd.ms. This actually lists all the Microsoft portal. It's like a shortcut to all the Microsoft portal where you can access them easily. When we go further, you will be able to understand when we try to use all these links to access the Microsoft Entra ID. So before we go to demonstration, I would like to check whether all the mentees are actually following what we have been discussing so far. So I will, in the chat, I would like mentee to answer one of these questions. If you want to answer question 1, you can just say 1. If the correct answer is A, you can just put A so that we can discuss why the answer is A and why other answers are incorrect. So I will be looking into the chat now. I would like to see what our mentees will be picking for as in all the answers. Okay. Question 1B, Olalekan, Chiamaka 2D. Okay. Chiamaka 1B. Okay. Okay, 1B, 1B, 2D, 1B, 2D. So actually, all our mentees, they are not actually beginner in this domain. That's really great. 1B, 2D, 1B, 2D. Wow. All our mentees, they are not actually beginners. So for the question number 1, what is digital identity? The correct answer is B. Why B is correct? Digital identity is defined as a collection of data, attributes, and credentials that uniquely represent a person, organization, or device in the online world. Why others are incorrect? Answer A is a physical ID card used for office access. This is referring to physical identity, not digital. Why C is incorrect? A password used to log in into a system. A password is just only one component of identity. If you have someone password, you need to input the username before you be able to use the password. So it's incomplete. D, a company website login page. That's not correct as well. A login page is just a tool. It's not an identity. So question number 2, which of the following is not a use of identity? And the correct answer is D, because hardware installation is not part of part of the use of identity. So identity is used for authentication, authorization, auditing, and administration. So all the user that pick D, well done. So I will just go back because I still have a lot of questions on the list, but for the sake of our time, I will try to just go back so that we can do a demo on the Entra Admin Center. Let me just go ahead to. All right, so like we discussed earlier, there are several ways in which we can access Microsoft Entra ID. So the first option on the list is admin.microsoft.com, or you can also use admin.cloud.microsoft.com. The URL will still resolve you to. So I will now log in It's already cached my account. So this is an art of authentication. What we just learned now, I'm demonstrating it for us to be able to see an art of authentication. Okay, it's asking for additional layer of security on my account, and I'm going to provide that shortly. All right, so all right, so I'm now logging to the admin center, Microsoft 365 admin center, using the URL admin.microsoft.com. As you can see on the URL, it's resolved to admin.cloud.microsoft.com. So there's a lot of rebranding in Microsoft. So as you can see, the left navigation side, I have a lot of properties, a lot of tabs, but what we are interested in is identity. So I will go ahead under the admin center and click on the identity. So this will take me to the Entra ID admin center. All right, so from the Microsoft 365 admin center, I click on the identity, and it takes me to Microsoft Entra ID portal. Like I said, you can also access Microsoft Entra ID portal using the portal.azure.com. So currently on the Azure environment, and from here, if you can't see this Microsoft Entra ID here, you can search from here. So once you click on Microsoft Entra ID, it will take you to the same environment. The reason is that Microsoft Entra ID is one of the services provided by Microsoft Azure. Like one of the core services of Microsoft Azure is Microsoft Entra ID. For the last one is another way to access Entra ID, cmd.ms. So this will give you access to all the Microsoft portal. So what we are interested in is Microsoft Entra ID. Once you click on Microsoft Entra, it will take you to the same page. If you notice, it's not requesting me to authenticate anymore. This is one of the functionality of Microsoft Entra ID. And what is responsible for that seamless signing is what we know as SSO, single sign-on. So once you log into any application within the Microsoft environment, whenever you want to use another application within the Microsoft workload, you won't be asked to authenticate again to automatically sign you in. Okay, so I will go back to the slide and I will ask one more question from our mentees. So what does authentication means? I would like you to type it in the chat. your answer. Just 3 and 4, just type the answer so that we can just, as we are practicalizing what we are learning, let's also demonstrate it by answering some questions. So by doing this, we are bridging the gap between the theory and the practical. So I'll be looking into the charts. Okay, you can see user authentication is validating user identity. Okay, C3B, B, both C. So you can see our mentees are actually following us. Some of them are getting the answer correctly. All right. Thank you very much. So what does authentication mean? The correct answer for question number 3 is B. Why B is correct? Authentication is the process of verifying who someone is. As we can all see, right? When I try to access admin.microsoft.com, I input my username and password, and I was granted access after supplying my multi-factor authentication. So that's what we mean by authentication. So if you are doing any Microsoft exam and maybe it's a scenario based, it's a straightforward question, I believe you will be able to confidently answer what you understand by authentication. So the question number 4, which identity model is managed locally within an organization data center? And the correct answer is, which identity model is managed locally within an organization data center? Oh, this question is actually wrong. I think I will go to the next question. Okay, I'll go to the next question. And the next question says, what is hybrid identity? Hybrid identity is managed hybrid identity are identity that are synchronized between the local Active Directory synchronized to Microsoft Entra ID. So if any of the mentee pick answer C for question number 5, you're absolutely correct. And question number 6, what is Microsoft Entra ID? I believe we all will be able to answer this question confidently. Yes, 5C. Okay. That is great. Yeah, all the mentees that pick B for question number 6, you are absolutely correct. Microsoft Entra ID is a cloud-based identity and access management system. All right, so I will go back to the Microsoft Entra ID. Thank you so much. I will just come here to give you an overview of the Microsoft Entra Admin Center, okay? As an administrator, maybe you're a new employee in a company and they employ you as an administrator. Once you have access to this dashboard or this view, you'll be able to understand what is going on in your new environment. Okay, so once they give you an access, maybe they give you a security reader role so that you'll be able to view all the settings within the existing within the company that you are joining. You'll be able to see all the related information about the company. So as you can see here, we have like almost 4 cards at the top. The first one shows the company name, the tenant ID, the primary domain. Okay, so if I go to overview, I won't get this card again. That is why I just want to take my time and show you what is actually yeah. So by looking at this environment, I already know how many users, how many group, how many devices are in this complaint. Okay, and I can see the role of this user is global administrator, and I can see the tenant identity secure score. So identity secure score is just like a security poster of your organization. It shows all the it actually gives you an overview of how your security settings in your organization are rated. Okay, so I will go and you can if you can see in the lower right hand side here, Microsoft Entra ID Connect is disabled. This simply means this tenant is a cloud only. If it is an hybrid, this will be enabled. Okay, so during the course of this track, you understand better as we move on. So I will go to overview now. From the overview, we have the basic information. We have the name, Kind View Consult, that's the name of the complaint. And this is the tenant ID. This is the unique identifier of your tenant. Okay. Whenever you want to do anything and they request for your tenant ID, you can come around on this page and copy this tenant ID. So primary domain, kindviewconsult.com.ng. The license that is associated with this tenant is Microsoft Entra ID P2 license. Like we discussed earlier, you need license, depend on your goals and depend on the goals of your complaint. You need, the higher the license you have, the more the capability you will have. Okay, so on this tenant, we have 8 users. We have groups, we have 9 groups, 0 application, 0 devices. So under here, just have the information of the global administrator and the Entra ID, Microsoft Entra Connect status. So those are the view that you have: feature highlight, identity protection, access review, authentication method, among others. So if you go to users, on this page, this gives you an overview of all the users. We know that we have 8 users in this tenant from the overview page. I'm still going back, but for you to be able to see all the users, you need to come to users. Okay, so let me go back to the overview and let's go to monitoring. So on this monitoring page, this gives you all the in-depth analysis of all the signings within your environment. Okay, so if you want to know the signing on January 29, you can just click on it and it will display everything for you. We are going to go through all these things one after the other, but for the sake of our time, I'm just going to glance through all this environment for you so as to be able to familiarize yourself with this environment. So when we start creating users, checking sign-in log, audit log, we'll be able to understand that, oh, this is where we are coming from. So if you come to properties, we see all the properties associated with this tenant, name of the tenant country or region, the data location, the notification language, the tenant ID is still also here, the technical contact. This technical contact is actually a person that whenever you need any assistance from Microsoft support team, this is the person that will receive an email regarding if you didn't specify any email in your support request. This user, this technical contact will get an email directly from the Microsoft. So for global privacy contact, I didn't set this one for this tenant, but if I input my global admin account, let me add this account. If I add this account to this page, this simply means any security information about my tenant will be sent to this user. And if I didn't specify any email ID, any inquiry regarding data privacy for this tenant will be sent to the global administrator. So I just specified this address now. So privacy statement URL, you can create a privacy statement and have it somewhere in the cloud, and you can share the URL to that statement so that your internal user and the invited user, which are guest user, they will be able to read the data privacy of your company. Okay, so it's just to make sure that you most companies normally do this to notify their user about the privacy related or incident or data breach, specifically related to the Entra service. So, and on this page, we have security default. Okay, so security default are basic identity security mechanism. All the new tenants, new tenant normally come with security default these days. Okay, so security default are what Microsoft tag as lowest minimum that your company must have. So instead of you to think of maybe any security, if you don't have any security details or any security policy in place yet, you can make use of security default. But conditional access actually give you more. It gives you more robust policy to be able to customize your security posture very well within your organization. So if for professionally, I will advise that you go for conditional access rather than security default. But if you are new, if you have a new tenant, you can still make use of security default pending the time the management will decide how they want to create their security policy. Okay, so let me move on to, let me save this one. So let me move on to groups. So here, what we have here, we have a group, new group. If you want to create group, this is where you create your group. And if you want to fill all the existing groups, this, if you click on all groups, you will have access to all the groups. And inside, this is preview. Deleted group any group that was deleted in your tenant will actually show up on this page, and you have 30 days to restore them, unless they will be deleted. They will get deleted permanently after 30 days. So like we said earlier, not just user, devices also make use of Entra ID. Okay, so devices also make use of Entra ID. Currently, I don't have any device enroll for this tenant. Okay, so let me go back to user, because for the time, we need to make better use of our time. Okay, so these are core admin skills. If you are able to create user, like you create a user and you are able to onboard that user and you are able to offboard the user, you have actually performed the identity life cycle. Okay. In your company, whenever a new employee join, you create a new user for the employee, and when the employee is leaving, you offboard that employee account. Okay, so Microsoft Entra ID give you all this capability to be able to onboard and offboard. Okay, so here we create a new user. Although these are one of the core admin tasks that we will be doing tomorrow, but we will create a new user today, just for all the mentees to be able to see how it works. Okay, so whenever you click on create new user, rather, you have two options. You have internal and external. The internal user are user within your organization, while the external are those collaborators, or those your contractor, or those your supplier, or those your partner that you invited to your company to collaborate with you on a project or any business. So if you click on create a new user, let me just say John. Okay, let me say John Samuel. All right, so I can decide that this user, this account, an automatic password should be generated for this new account, or I can specify myself. If I uncheck this, I can input the password myself. So in this regard, I will just input a password for this user. Okay, so I can decide to, there are times that you want to, okay, a new employee will be joining next month, and you want to create that account as early as possible, but you don't want to give access. You can either enable the account or disable it. Once you check this account, it means you are enabled the account. Okay, so it might be that you want the account to be enabled maybe one day to the onboarding as your company places, or depend on your priority in your company. So if you move on to properties, you can decide to fill all the, it's very important that you fill all these parameters. So John Samuel, user type is member. Okay. Job title, maybe system analyst. Company, put the company name, KVT, department, IT. Can say information technology and telecom, IT&T, employee ID. If the HR already generated an employee ID for this user, you can add employee type, employee hiring date, office location. You can add manager for the user among the existing member of your organization. You can add address, home address, state, phone number, email ID, age group, usage location. We'll be making use of all these usage location. When we get there, you will understand what this actually means. Okay, so let's move on to assignments. You can add a group for this user. You can also add a role. Let's say this user is a system analyst. I want to add an admin role, but I'm not giving this user any admin role. You can, once you decide that, okay, this is all the parameters that you'll be adding for this user, you can go ahead to review and you can click on create. As you can see, we have 8 users here. But if you refresh, you will see that John Samuel is now member of KVT. Okay, so let's move on to, we'll come back to this user, okay? I'm just letting you know the core administrative skill that if you have this minimum skill, you can qualify for admin role. Okay, these are what the administrator do on a daily basis. Okay, creating user, archiving user, assigning role to user. So those are the basic or core admin skills. Okay, so before I go to roles, let me see what we can do here. Okay, here you can also delete user. Before you can delete a user, you must make sure that, okay, the user is no longer working in your company and all the user data has been backed up. These are one of the core admin role. So you need to back up the data of that user so that if a new employee is taking up that role, all the data of that user, you can give it to the new employee. So the new employee will be able to work on the existing workflow data that the previous employee has already worked on. This work in some organization depend on the policy that is established within your organization. Okay, so let's assume that I want to delete this user. So once you click on delete, this user will no longer appear on this list anymore. Okay, so here we have password reset. You can decide that users should be able to reset their password at their own convenience. So you don't want any user to raise a support request with the admin. So you can decide to turn on SSPR, self-service password reset, for your employee. Okay, you can decide the authentication method, number of method required. If it is admin account, like global admin, 2 is constant. These are the standard. So you need to select the method that will be available for the user on this very page. Okay, so if I move on to roles and admin. So, you know, like I said earlier, right? Administration, oh, not administration this time, because administration is a process whereby you create user, and this role is performed by the administrator. So I'll be discussing about authorization. So now that a user is created in a company, and this user, I want to give this user a specific role so that this user will be able to perform some duty. So this is where you can specify a role for a user. So let's just look at three administrator role on this very page. Let's first of all check global administrator. So if you assign this role to any employee, the user can manage all aspects of the Entra ID and Microsoft services that use Microsoft Entra identities. This is the highest that you can give to employee. And by Microsoft standard, your tenant must have a minimum of 1 or maximum of 2. The reason being that if you have more than 2 global administrator in your company might be at risk if one of the admin credential leaked to an attacker or a wrong person. The person can be able to wreak havoc within your company security environment. So this is the main reason why Microsoft recommend that for your company, the minimum you can have is 1 and the maximum is 2. The reason why you need to have 2 is that the first admin, he or she may forgot the logon credential for his or her account, and the second admin be able to step in and reset the password for the first admin. So these are just the main reason why you need to have 2. The second role that we will discuss is global reader. If you give global reader role to an employee, this is like a global administrator in reader's domain. Okay, this user will be able to read everything, be able to access everywhere, but this user can only view, but they cannot update anything like the global administrator. So these are just the difference. So I will go to the third one that I would like us to discuss, because these are the most used roles in an organization. I would like us to discuss user administrator. Yes. So there are times that not every task will be calling global admin. So you can designate one of your employee, maybe in the IT department. You can designate a role for the employee to be a user administrator. What user administrator can do, it can manage all aspects of users and groups, including resetting password for limited admin. This user cannot reset password for global admin. So there are hierarchy in these roles as well. Okay. So yeah, so as we move forward, when we go further, you will understand more of this role, because we are going to use one of these roles during the course of the learning that we are currently doing now. So I will go back to user again. So from here, I deleted a user earlier, and I want to restore that user. Okay, so from here, you can see that I delete Akisomi Akim just for testing. Okay, so if I want to restore this user, this is where I will come to deleted users. So from here, I can decide to delete this user permanently. But if my manager or maybe the
the board in my company decided that, okay, this user will be coming back. I should restore the user access. I can come here within 30 days and restore the user access. Once I click on restore users, user will now go back to, if I go back to all user, I'll be able to see this user again. Okay. So what if it is more than 30 days? This user will be deleted from the deleted user page. Okay. So as you can see, we created a user the other time. The name is John Samuel. This user, we need to assign license to the user. Okay. But maybe 2 years ago or more than that, they have moved the capability of assigning license to a user from this very page to Microsoft 365. Okay, for us to be able to assign a license for the new user we created in this environment, this particular user, John Samuel, we need to go back to Microsoft 365 Admin Center. The main reason was just that they want to make sure that all the related items like billing, all those stuff should be managed in one place so that there will be less confusion. Okay, if you want to deal with identity proper, you know that you are in Microsoft Entra ID. If you want to do maybe anything billing, go back to Microsoft 365 environment. So if we come here, if we go to users, active users, we can look for this user here, John Samuel. This user is on license. So if I click on license and app, I can decide to add license for this user. Okay. All what we are doing now is just demo. We are just walking through the admin center. We have not done anything yet. So for the sake of the new learner, we are just taking you through all this environment. Okay, we are going to start a proper work on it as we move on. Okay, so we have given this user a license. Okay, so this user now can sign in. As you can see here, the user have access to like 78 applications. As an admin, this is one of your job. You may get an instruction from your director that these users should not have access to some applications. So you can remove them from this page. If you don't want this user to have access to maybe Entra ID, you can remove these ones for the user. This user will be able to access the Entra environment. If you want to remove Intune capability for this user, you can do it here. So you can specify the application this new user can access within your environment. Okay. So I think we will stop here today because I don't want to bore you too much. This class is for beginner. I know there is a lot of MVP in the room, a lot of la creme de la creme of M365, but this class is not for you. So this class is for a beginner because we want to build a foundation whereby all other things we build upon. So we need to let them know the basis so that they will be able to understand better on how this environment work. Okay, so I will now go back and leave the mic to to Adekunle to take over. Thank you very much. So this is where we will stop today. By tomorrow, we get busier, but I believe that with what we have done so far today, you will be able to understand the concept. What are the criteria needed for be able to be a successful M365 or Entra ID administrator. So I believe at the end of the day, you'll be able to understand that being an admin, there are several roles that you need to perform for your company. And if you get all those skills right from here, from this M365 mentorship program, you can add all these skills to your CV, and you will be surprised that you will land an M365 administrator role. Okay, thank you, everyone. Then we continue tomorrow. So over to
Thank you so much, Sai. Thank you. That was a very, very impactful session. So, because we still have some time, I feel like some people will have questions they might want to say themselves. Maybe they couldn't drop it in the chat. So now I'll be taking questions for those that would have their hands raised. I think I can see one person, or okay, I see some people now indicating. So raise up your hands. I would unmute you, or probably I'll open your mic. Then you can unmute and ask your question. So the first person is Yadi Yanweuba Ezra. Ezra, I'm sorry for pronouncing it wrongly, if I did. So you can unmute your mic and speak now, Ezra. Next would be Olumide. Ezra, you can unmute your mic and speak. I've opened you up. Hello? Ezra, are you there? Or can anyone hear me?
yes, I can hear you, Adekunle.
All right, thanks, Said. I don't know if Ezra is trying to speak, but if you can't unmute your mic, maybe we can have Olumide.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Oh, okay, good. Thanks, Ezra. You can go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir, for this privilege. I just want to say thank you so much for this wonderful experience. This is my first experience in my life. I've never experienced MC365, which I'm craving for. You understand? So, my question in regards to this Entra, my M365 Entra ID is, for instance, now, how do we use dynamic groups in Entra ID to automatically give a new employee access to my SharePoint document? Yeah, to my SharePoint document library based on their job roles. Hello, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Ezra. So, Said, do you want to take that question?
I should come again?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Said, you can go ahead.
So, if I understand the question correctly, you mean how can you give an employee access to SharePoint using the dynamic group, right?
Yes.
No. So is that what I think the question was, allowing someone access to SharePoint, maybe external or a guest?
Yes.
Yeah. So
you can use Microsoft Entra ID security group to give access to share permission for SharePoint. You can use security group to share permission to SharePoint. Okay, so
yeah.
So
go ahead.
What is actually involved is that you need to go to the SharePoint site to select this permission to select a permission group, like maybe member or visitor. If you already have those things in place, then you grant permission. So once this user is added to that group, this dynamic security group will take effect on that user with all the policy that is applied to it. I hope I will be able to answer your question.
Yes. Thank you. So you know why I asked this question is that when I joined this group, when I joined this M365 group, So it paves the way and open my understanding because I am changing a career to a tech.
Oh, amazing.
So without even taking advice, I begin to, as in, I enroll in MC365 standard and begin to make research.
Wow.
So with the knowledge of the research which I make, that is how I be able to draft out these questions because I have created some. I'm craving to be an SharePoint architecture. That's what I want to
Wow.
be. I want to be a SharePoint. That is why I asked this question.
That is very good. Well done. That is very good.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right.
All
Go
right,
on,
thanks so
Adekunle.
much. Yeah, thanks, Saeed. Thanks for giving context to that question. And thank you, Ezra. Thanks for stepping up to the mic. Next, and Ezra, I want you to be on the lookout because SharePoint would also be a topic we'll be talking about very soon as part of this mentorship program. So ensure you don't miss out when we get to that stage of the program.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. All right, so Olumide, you can unmute your mic and speak. I just opened up your mic. Olumide, are you there? Yeah, you just need to unmute yourself. Your mic was disabled, but now it's enabled. So you need to go and unmute yourself and speak. So can you try unmuting yourself? Well, your mic has been enabled. So while you're still trying, maybe we'll just allow the next person to go, and then when you can, would go next. So we have Amaye Igonikon. You can check to see if you can unmute yourself and speak. I just unblocked your mic.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, so who is this now? Olumide. Okay, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
good evening. No, it's not Olumide, it's Amai.
Okay, Amaye, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, instructor as well. So my question right now, I don't know if I'm forward, if it's we'll get to that part right now, but my question is getting a tenant in Microsoft 365. Evening, ma. Is it that how does that really work? Like because I think I feel the account is using the administrator account is using I think it's a demo account, more like for us to learn with. So I was kind of I'm kind of curious to know how getting a tenant. Maybe I have a Microsoft 365 admin account, and I want to manage another company. How do I? Do they have to pay for a? Do I have to create a separate account for their own, or I can use my own account to manage them as a tenant while they still pay for me, like they pay me?
Okay, thank you,
I don't even know how
Amai.
to put the question, but I don't know.
I completely understand your question. So you don't need to use your own environment to manage your customer or maybe your client environment. So as an admin, you need to advise, sit with the board, ask a lot of questions. What are their priorities? Okay, what do they want in their company? So they will tell you. So based on the information that you have at hand, you'll be able to advise, okay, we need to create a Microsoft 365 tenant, and these are the license that we need. So based on the request, you'll be able to determine which license we have the capability to perform all those requests. So as an admin, you need to sit with the board of the company that want to employ you or that want to contract you for admin role. You need to understand their priorities. After you gather all those information, you'll be able to advise them further. Okay. I hope I was able to answer your request. You don't need to use your own test environment to manage your client environment, because
tenancy is like a building, right? So like we mentioned in the slide, is an isolation just protect for a security that no one should trespass to my own building. Okay, so that's why we use the student school building in the case study. We can have two schools beside each other, maybe girls high school, boys high school, but there will be an imaginary line between them, which is called fence, to be able to confirm that this belong to girls high school and the other fence belong to boys high school. This is the same thing. This is the same concept when we make mention of tenant. Okay, a tenancy, like you rent an apartment in someone building. If you have a tenant with Microsoft, in a layman language, it actually implies that you rent a room with Microsoft cloud environment. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, Mr. Said. Very well understood.
You're welcome, Amai.
All right, thank you so much, Amai. Thanks, Saeed. So, Olumide, can you check? Okay, so Saeed, Olumide's question is basically that is it true that for an hybrid environment, you cannot have a user in the cloud and also having an identity on-prem environment unless you delete the on-prem identity first of all? So maybe you should look at the chat and try to respond to the question side from Olumide Olokuni here before we go to the next person.
My question, okay. My question is it true that for hybrid environments, you cannot have a user in the cloud and having an identity on-prem environment unless you delete the on-prem identity first of all? Your question is not actually straightforward, but let me just give you the basic so that you will be able to understand. So whenever you have hybrid, okay, let me use the an analogy for you. Let me say one-way traffic. Okay, this implies that you are going and no traffic is coming. Let me use the analogy for you so that you'll be able to understand. So if you have an on-premises identity and you have cloud identity, once you synchronize the identity from the cloud, you will be able to see those identity that was synchronized from the on-premises in the cloud. So there are times that you need to set up what it knows as password drawback so that they will be able to, change their password related to that. So, but how it works is like your identity in the on-premises environment need to be synchronized to the cloud. Okay. So once they synchronize to the cloud, you can give all the user M365 license, and they will be able to use the same identity that they have in the on-premises environment in the cloud. I hope I was able to answer your question. At Olumide. So we also have from Daniel, for environment with devices and uses and users, we only E3 license be okay, or both P2 and E3 for environment with devices. So you mean like Intune, right? If you have E3, Intune is okay. If you have E3 license, yes, you can make use of devices. Like you can make use of Intune, which is like the platform that is created for managing your devices, along with Entra. Okay, so most time when you enroll your device using the Microsoft Entra ID, the policy are actually created in the Intune environment. Okay, so but when you have access to E3 license, you have access to Intune, so you are good to go. if you get P2, you have more capability, but E3 will do the work for you. Okay. Question 2, you mentioned user data could be backup before deleting. Can you show us how to backup? Yes. During the course of this program, we are going to do all those stuff. What we have done so far today is just, we don't want to bore you too much with technicalities. We want to explain the little things that really matter. Okay, so once you understand all those basics, you will be able to build on that. It is very easier for you to back up data for someone that is leaving your complaint, and this data can be reused. Okay, so once we get to that page, this question, you'll be able to see it for yourself. The third question also, how do we attach the backup data to another user? So when we get to this page, we will show you how to do all this stuff. Okay,
Very
basically,
correct.
once you back up the file and other stuff for the outgoing user, once you enroll a new user, you can upload all this file into the new user OneDrive. Don't worry with all this, because all this question is, when you see the practical aspect of it, you'll be able to understand better. If you have, keep all the questions coming, so that we keep them noted, so that we'll be able to branch it, we'll be able to branch all those areas, so that you have more clarity. Keep them coming. We keep taking note of them, so that we
Thank
can be
you.
able. Yeah, exactly. So
Thank you so much, Saheed.
do we still have more questions, Adekunle?
Yes. So I've identified 5 people that have their hands raised, and we'll take these 5 before we end the session tonight. So we have Clement, Kehinde, Richard, Sophia, and Zainab. So Clement, you can unmute your mic. I just enabled your mic, so you can unmute and speak. You only have 1 minute to ask your question, and you'll also be getting a 1-minute response.
Adekunle, do we have attendance link? Someone is asking in
Good evening,
the chat.
Mr. Said.
Yes, it's in the chat. I'll just
good evening, Clement.
put it again. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much for this enlightening session. I'm Clement Modebe. My first question has been asked already in respect of backing up a deleted user. The second one is I'd like to know whether a dummy account or Microsoft 365 will be provisioned for us to enable us put into practice what we've learned today.
Oh yeah,
because some of
I can't say more than I know, but I trust our leadership in the person of Madam Olajumoke Toriola. She will try her best to be able to get you trial license, to be able to provision your trial tenants. I trust her, because over time, whenever we have this kind of outing, she always go above and beyond to create test tenant for the mentees. So all the mentors in the house, all the leadership in the house, they are taking note of your question, and I believe that they will provide a solution to it as soon as possible. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Saheed. So Clement, just be on the lookout. That's the discussion we're having internally. If it's going to be ready, we'll let you know. And during the course of the training, you would also get it. So thank you for that. Kehinde, I just opened your mic. Can you unmute and speak? I think you just dropped off, Kehinde. So Richard, can you check unmute your mic and speak? You should be able to unmute now. I just opened your mic as well. Hello, Richard. Can you unmute your mic? Also, Sophia, I just allowed your mic. Can you try?
It's not working. Okay, it's now on. Thank you. Yeah,
okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, the team, especially our tutor this night. You took it gradually, and we really appreciate that. My question is, you said that Microsoft recommends at least one global administrator and the maximum of 2 global administrators for security reasons. My question is it in addition to break glass accounts or in all? Do you understand the question? Is it in addition to break glass accounts? So,
break
or is
what?
break glass accounts?
Break glass accounts.
Okay.
That is an emergency account you can use
Yeah.
to rescue something if you are logged out or something, or there is a failure.
Okay. So, Said, can I take this?
You can go on, Adekunle.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
So, Richard, yes. So
Yeah.
the recommendation is not size recommendation. Let me just bring context. It's Microsoft's recommendation that you should have at least 2 global admins and a maximum of 5. It shouldn't be more than 5. And this is because of
Okay.
having too many admins, what it causes on your tenant. So basically, Microsoft would not recognize the break glass account as a regular user account. And that's because the reason lies in the name. It's supposed to be an emergency account, an account that you go to when maybe every other account is locked out, or maybe there's a compromise, because most times that account is always in the secret. Not everyone knows it. It might just be 1 or 2 persons in the organization that will know of the emergency account. And that emergency account is always sometimes exempted from policies that could lock out every other person in the organization. So those kind of accounts are not part of your recommended 2 to 5 accounts, because the median is between 2 and 5. So you shouldn't have 1, because if you have 1, it's a big risk. 1 can get locked and then you start raising tickets to Microsoft to get unlocked. But you shouldn't have more than 5. If you are having more than 5, it's becoming an excess of administrators. That's why you have other level of admins you can create depending on the access they need. It's a process, or it's a system known as the RBAC, role-based access control, just so that you can control what the users are doing.
Okay,
Can be
that's
an
quite
admin
good. Thank
for.
you very much.
All right, good. It's good that you get that now. Thank you so much. Said, I don't know if you want to add to that. You want to top up to what I said?
I think what you said actually make a lot of sense, because if something is in the secret, I don't think it should be part of the recommended process from the Microsoft security policy, as the case may be.
Thank you so much, Said. So I think next person should be Sophia. You can unmute and speak. Then we have Zainab and Kehinde left. Okay, Sophia.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. My name is Sophia. I am new to first of all, thank you so much, Sir Said, for this session. It was really beautiful, and you actually break it down because I'm actually new to all of this. So my question is, I'm sorry I'm going to digress a little bit, but I just want to clarify on something. Is it safe for me to take IT modern training that deals with the help desk level 1, about ticketing, Active Directory, and all of that? Is it safe to take that course and also take Microsoft Office 365? And also, I don't really get when you were explaining about Active Directory. So those are my 2 questions, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, you are welcome, Sophia. So is it safe to take the help desk training as well as the M365 training? The answer is yes. Okay, so no knowledge is a waste. Okay, so you can go ahead to learn help desk,
Okay, because
M365. Please go on.
Okay, because I'm actually new to IT and I am looking forward to get a good result from this. The course is actually for 3 to 4 months, and this is also M3. This M365 is also 4 months. So I don't know, how do I combine them together. Although this is a new, all these classes I've been having, the previous cloud computing, and it actually seems strange to me because I'm hearing those words for the first time, which I know as time goes by I'll be able to understand. But I was
So
just curious if it is safe
yeah,
to combine them together.
so what you are saying is quite understandable, right? In 2019, I was in the same position as you are. Okay, I don't know Jack. I don't understand anything. And look at the M365 community now. We have MVP. They all start from the same confusion. Okay, so don't see it as just take it one step at a time. Okay, don't if you want to go for if you need clarity, or maybe you should go for help desk, or you should stick to Microsoft 365. From my own, if you want me to choose for you, I will say go for M365. Okay, because in M365 there is a lot of workload that you can over the time become an expert on it, and you own it for life. Okay, so on the other hand, the help desk, I'm not saying you should not get any training on that, but I'm just saying this is what I understand. I hope you get my own part. So if you
Yeah.
want to go, to the M365 training, there's a lot of opportunity out there for you. You can be a SharePoint guru, you can be Intune guru like Adekunle, you can be a lot more here. So you can be an exchange guru, a lot of opportunity for you. Okay,
You're right.
so over time, when you get to know the technology more, you'll be able to choose your own path, and you won't regret it. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you
All
so
right,
much,
thank you
Said.
so much,
And
sir. Thank you.
Sophia, please, I would recommend that you go back to the channel and try to revisit the first video for this mentorship program. It was taken by the organizer of the Microsoft 365 community, Madam Olajumoke Toriola.
MJ.
It's actually going to guide you. And
Yes,
you
Okay.
can
I
also reach
recommend
out
that.
to any of
I
us.
actually took it though.
Were you a part of that first class?
Yes, I was.
Can you
Okay,
please take
okay.
your time to review the video once again?
Yeah.
You'll be
And
able to
yes, you
get
can
more.
also still reach out personally because I
Yeah.
feel like you are not getting the right response you want yet because you are trying to pick between the two. So if you still need some level of professional guidance, you can always reach out to any of the mentors. Anybody can always still guide you even outside of the call if you
Sorry,
want to have further conversations.
where where can I have I don't have any contact, I don't have any, I don't
Okay,
know,
so
is it on
there's a
LinkedIn or
WhatsApp link. Sorry, we're on Discord. Um,
uh,
Let me see. Probably I would ask Aishat or Emmanuel or Paul, anyone that's online, any of the organizers. Please let's drop the links for the socials in the chat right now, so you can join one of it. We have a WhatsApp chat, we have a YouTube channel, we have a Discord server link that you can join. So right from there, you can meet other mentees and even other mentors and ask your questions from there, so you can get
Yeah.
more clarity.
okay, thank you so
All
much.
right.
Thank you for
So
this opportunity.
just be on the lookout on the chat. You would find the link. Thank you. Let's move quickly. We have just 7 minutes till we close out. So Zainab, you can unmute your mic and speak.
Okay. Hi, good evening. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes,
I
we
think
can hear
my
you.
okay, thanks. So I think my first question will be around do you think that it would be advisable that you have like an M365 backup solution? So I give an example like Vim, the Vim 365 backup solution, outside of maybe you just using Purview to export, right? And then I also wanted to know if we would also be covering the part of when you export from Purview, the ability for you to remap it maybe as OST or PST back into your Outlook. Sorry, that's my second question. And then my third question is around hybrid identity, right? So you have maybe service accounts or critical account that you have maybe synchronized their identity to the cloud. Are we going to be covering the ability to map those accounts as sensitive accounts and maybe a defender triggering an alarm when anything sort of attack those sensitive accounts? I think that's my three questions.
Okay. Well done, Zainab. Thank you. I think we've identified you already. These your questions are not beginner questions on a lighter note, but I won't allow Saeed to answer the first two because, like we've said, we have different sessions for each of these technologies. You've mentioned Beam, you've mentioned Defender, you've mentioned Purview. These are three different topics we are still going to talk about. So we are just going to save these topics. You can smile, yes. But then we are going to save these questions till that time. But for the last question, maybe I'll just allow Saeed to respond to it in 1 minute and then we can go further. Thank you for your questions.
Can you repeat the last question?
Okay, so the last question was around identity, the ability when you synchronize sensitive accounts to Defender, and then you're able to map them just so that an alert is triggering when somebody's trying to use those accounts or their, excessive logins from those accounts.
I think this question will still be best answered when we get to the Microsoft compliance.
Yeah, okay. So let me just give you I think a one-line response to it. Basically, for the accounts that will be identified as priority accounts. No, just one line. Okay, just one line. Go. For those accounts that will be recognized as priority accounts, yes, with identity protection, they will be done. But then let's just have it in mind that whatever is affecting or whatever is pushing those policies, those is identity protection. So let's just leave it there, and then we'll take it up when we get to security part of this training. Thank you, Zainab. Okay, all right. So lastly, we have Kehinde. Kehinde, your mic is unmuted. That the last question or the last person we'll be taking for tonight. For every other person that has a question, please let's meet on Discord, and then we'll take your questions. So even if your technical questions, you can ask them there. But we want to make these sessions as beginner friendly as possible. So Kehinde, can you unmute your mic and speak? Kehinde, if you are speaking, you are still muted. You have to unmute your mic.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening, Kehinde.
Yes, I'm so grateful for this great opportunity to be here. Thank you so very much. Yes, I just played that the first two questions. Maybe you can just go over it again. The first two for today's class. That's just my question.
Okay. You mean we should go to the first two questions, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we still have some time. So let me know if you can see those questions now.
Yes, I can.
Okay. What are the challenges you're having with these two questions?
There's no challenges actually. It was as I came in that the answer was being said, so I didn't get the question.
Oh, okay. So first of all, you will have the opportunity to rewatch the recording. So for this question, so it's just a knowledge check of what we have learned so far tonight. Okay, so we asked, what is digital identity? This is what we have discussed in the previous slide. Okay, so digital identity is a collection of data and credentials representing a person or device online. Okay. So that is the main reason why all the mentees are picking action answer B in the comment section. The second question, which of the following